Good morning and happy Saturday or greetings whenever you're joining us. My name is Caitlin, and this is our Saturday morning level 2 comeback yoga class. This month, we've been focusing on mobility, and this practice is going to be a little bit slower, focusing on moving our joints and tendons a little differently than maybe we're used to. So I invite you to move with intention at your pace, and we will be taking some inversions. So having our head below our heart, and if that's not something that's good for you, you can always take those folds on the mat and fold forward from the ground. And we will be practicing for about 40 minutes today, and all of those minutes are yours. So if ever I'm cueing a pose that you don't feel like this morning, find a shape that feels good for you. And if you just stay in child's pose and that is your yoga practice, that is perfect. That is wonderful. I'll be happy with that. This is your practice. So we're going to start lying on the mat and just start to notice your space. Maybe you notice the sounds, the air around you, and the space that you're practicing in. And then you can bring your awareness to your breath, and there's no need to make it longer or change it in any way. Just start to notice your breath. And maybe you bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your chest. Start to notice your body moving with your breath. Maybe you feel your heartbeat. So as your hands move with your breath, maybe you're curious about which hands are moving more. If you're breathing deeply into your belly, or noticing that the hand over your chest is moving more. You're breathing more with your heart space. Just be curious about that movement. Maybe throughout this time here, we can work on bringing all of our air into the belly, so that the hand over the belly moves up and down, sending the breath deep using our diaphragm. And maybe we try to breathe with our heart space, moving that hand over the chest, feeling the lungs, the ribs come wide, feeling that hand over the chest move. And this body awareness, this breath awareness is always my ticket to the present moment. If I find that I'm focusing too much on the past or worried about things that haven't even happened yet, I can bring my focus to the breath. That brings my focus to this present moment where our body only ever is. And from here, we're going to bend the left knee and plant the left sole of the foot so that the heel draws towards the hips. And then cross that right ankle over that left knee. So the right knee opens wide and we find a gentle hip stretch here. If you would like, you can add downward pressure using your right palm to press gently into the right thigh, pressing it away from your heart space. Or if you would like, you can drive the left knee up towards the heart space, moving this figure 4 that we've created with our legs up and closer to the shoulders. Just looking for some sensations maybe in the hips and lower body, a gentle hip stretch here, and relaxing as much as we can of the upper body onto the mat. So we'll be in this shape for 3 more breaths. Maybe as you breathe here, you notice you're holding tension in a muscle that you can release. And just allow the shape to support you and find a gentle hip stretch. And when you're done with that 3rd breath, we'll plant the left foot if it was lifted. Right foot comes high, and maybe you find some gentle ankle circles, point and flex that foot. Nice. And then from there, we'll bring the right knee in towards the chest and reach either for the right foot, ankle, or the back of the right thigh. Draw that knee down and then out to the right as we shine the sole of the foot for the ceiling. So half happy baby here. Finding a gentle stretch in the legs, maybe the hips, maybe the side body, maybe the ankle. Breathing here. Settling into the pose, noticing as you breathe, maybe you find a deeper expression of the shape for today. Wonderful. And then when you're ready to move on, we'll switch this out, planting the right sole of the foot close to the hip and crossing left ankle over right thigh for that figure 4. If you took a certain shape on the other side, try that out here on this side first. And then notice how you might need to adjust the depth of the shape because our sides are used differently. And so we need to stretch them differently. You never have to freeze or commit to a certain shape. Once you've tried it out, you can always switch things up. We'll be here for 3 more breaths. Nice. And then if you lifted that right sole of the foot, drop that sole of the foot back to the ground, and we'll lift the left foot and shine it to the ceiling, and then find those ankle rolls. Point and flex the foot. And when you're ready, we'll find half happy baby on this side. Again, finding your expression for this side for today. And we'll be here for 5 more breaths. Wonderful. And when you're ready to move on, we'll drop that left sole of the foot for the mat, and then we'll come to rest on the left hip or whatever hip feels good to rest on to see my guidance here. So we're going to stack the hips, stack the knees, stack the heels. You want your heels in line with your tailbone, in line with your shoulders. And we'll just make a clamshell shape. So lifting that right knee, keeping the right heel clicked in with the left, and then dropping it down. Inhale up and exhale down. So pressing the mat away with this left elbow. And you can use the right hand to support you on the mat, or you can have it to your hip to help keep them stacked visually. Beautiful, just as high as feels good. And then from here, we'll bring the knees perpendicular to the belly button, and we'll bring the shins in line. So you have a 90 degrees here, we're keeping it stacked. We're gonna lift the right leg and keep that shin as parallel to the mat as it can. So still seeking to keep your hips stacked as much as possible as you lift the right leg just gently as far as feels good. 3 more. Exhale down, inhale up, and exhale down. Like you're balancing something on your calf. Nice. And then from here, we'll keep that same integrity in the straightness of our calf. Lift the leg a little bit, and then draw that knee up towards your heart space. Lift it up towards your shoulder. Press that heel out and away, and then bring it back down in line with your left leg. We'll do that 2 more times this direction. Breathing here. And then we'll switch direction, keeping that focus on keeping the calf as parallel as we can. Just 3 circles here, nice. And then stack your knees, and then we'll press up to a seat with our legs in front of us. Bring the soles of the feet together, and these can be as close to your center or as far away as feels good. Let those knees fall wide, and we'll find some shoulder shrugs here. So pick a direction, and then you can always bring your hands to your shoulders to add some weight to this movement. Keeping a flat back, pressing through the mat, reaching through the crown of the head to elongate the spine, and then switch directions. Really nice. So again, just a gentle hip opener with these knees out wide. All right, and then from here, we'll keep that flat back and then hinge forward if it feels good from your hips to draw your heart space a little bit closer to your toes here. But keeping the integrity in your flat back. So it's okay if you don't move very much or at all. And if you want to create a little more space in the shape, you can always press those feet out and bend from there. So whatever feels good. You can give your feet a little massage here. And as you exhale, noticing if you're holding tension in your hips, your legs, your back. If you're engaging any muscles that can be let go to settle deeper into the shape. And when you're ready to move on, we'll come to rest on our opposite elbow. It's my right elbow. Stack the knees, and we'll find those clamshells again on this side. So again, my heels are in line with my tailbone, in line with my shoulders, and we'll just lift that top knee as high as it'll go while keeping our heels together and pressing the mat away with that grounded elbow. Nice. And then from here, we'll find our 90. So pressing the thighs perpendicular to the torso, shins are 90 degrees down. And then keeping our top shin level, we'll lift that top leg and drop it down. 4 more, moving with your intention. Maybe moving with your breath. Really strong. Nice. All right, let those rest for just a little bit before we move into our circles. So keeping that balancing plate of cookies is my favorite. On your calf, we're going to draw that knee up towards the heart space, open it up, and then press the heel away, and then drop the leg down and slide the knee home. Lift it, draw it forward, up, pressing that heel out. And one more leg circle in this direction, moving again with your intention. And then when you're ready, we'll switch directions for 3 rotations. So a lot of, like I said, maybe working tendons that we don't normally move this way. And I feel it in my hips. Okay, from here, we're going to actually lay on our bellies in whatever direction feels good. Come to rest. So the tops of the feet are pressing into the mat, and the palms are underneath the shoulders. And then we'll keep little to no weight in the palms. We'll press through the tops of the feet so much so that maybe the kneecaps lift, and then on an inhale, head, neck, and chest lifts. Again, not using too much pressure in our palms for this baby cobra. On an exhale, let it go. So drop the knees, drop the head, neck, and chest. Inhale, knee caps come up, head, neck, and chest lifts, and your gaze is towards the top of the mat. Just a gentle back bend. On an exhale, come back down. 3 more, just like that. Inhale up. Pressing into the mat with the hips. Exhale down. Moving with your breath. Inhaling to find this gentle back bend. Exhaling down. Nice. 1 more, just like that. Sweet. When you're ready to move on, we will slide the palms down towards the hips, fingertips reaching for the heels. And maybe okay, we're all set. From here, we're going to lift the head, neck, and chest just like we did, and the fingers are going to continue to reach for the heels. Maybe from here, our feet and our lower legs lift. So we're pressing into the hips and using those hip points and the core muscles to keep our arms and legs lifted if you chose to lift your lower legs. Breathing here, so staying in the shape for 2 more breaths. reaching those toes away from the hips and reaching the fingers for the heels for a locust pose. And when you're ready, on an exhale, we'll drop back down. And then bend your knees, bring the soles of the feet to point towards the ceiling, and we'll drop them from one direction to the other. Windshield wipers here. Finding a gentle external and internal rotation of the hips. Beautiful. And then we'll drop the tops of the feet to meet the mat. And then we'll sweep the hands back up. They're going to come past the crown of the head. And we're going to slide our elbows underneath our shoulder blades. So our head, neck, and chest is going to come up as our elbows support us here. I'm going to press into the palms, press into the elbows, and then draw those elbows down towards the heels to open the clavicles wide. Heart space shines through, and your gaze can be ahead or gently down towards the front of the mat. So we're not looking too high up and causing any crinkles in the neck. And drawing the shoulder blades towards the spine. So this should be hopefully a bit of gentle opener for those core muscles in the front of the body. Our Sphinx pose. Nice. From here, we're going to press through the palms to come up to our tabletop and then find our cat cows. So on an inhale, you can drop the belly, point the tailbone, and point the nose for the sky. On an exhale, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, and curl the spine. And then move here with your breath. Inhales and exhales, finding your shape. And maybe paying special attention to those cat shapes when we curl our spine. Can you find a nice fold there, pressing the mat away, tucking the chin towards your chest and expanding the space between your shoulder blades. After those gentle back bends, we want to find a bend in the opposite direction. And then from here, you can find any organic movement that feels good. So maybe dropping your hips to one side and then the other, or making some hip circles. And if you took some hip circles, move in the other direction. And then we will come back to a flat back on our tabletop. So I'm going to check out my back in the mirror here. Okay. So pressing the mat away with your palms, pressing the mat away with your knees, bringing that intention into your right knee, maybe even the right shin, right top of the foot. Left leg lifts parallel to the mat, left heel presses out and away, lighting up through the center line. And maybe you choose to stay here, keeping that press away with the right knee and the palms, or maybe you bring that weight into the left palm, right arm lifts parallel, right thumb reaches for the sky. And we'll be here for 4 more breaths, pressing the mat away to support you, bringing your awareness to the strength in your core, the muscles wrapping around your spine, drawing navel in. And when you've reached that 4th breath, we can come back down to our tabletop. Maybe take some organic movements here, dropping hips to one side and then the other. And then we'll switch directions. So bring that awareness, as much weight as possible, into your left knee, pressing that mat away with your left knee so that your right leg can lift parallel to the mat. Right heel reaches for the back of the room. And maybe your left arm also reaches forward now, parallel to the mat. Right hand presses the mat away. Drawing navel into spine. Keeping the hips square, maybe by dialing that small toe edge of the right foot down towards the mat. And pressing away with that left knee. Nice. And when you've reached your fourth breath in this shape, we'll bring the knee and hand back down and bring those knees wider than hip width distance. Maybe your big toes come to touch and your hips sink down for child's pose. So they're sinking down towards your heels and your forehead can come down towards the mat. Can always stack your palms below your forehead to bring the mat to you, or you can stretch them long in front of you. We'll be here for 10 breaths. Settling into this pose. Noticing your body in this shape. And adjusting as you breathe to find more ease and rest. As always, this pose is available to you anytime during your practice. If you would like to move on, we'll come up to our hands and knees again, and then flip the toes for a downward facing dog. Hips come high. Tailbone points for the sky. Heart draws towards the thighs. And just release the heels. Let go of the tension in your calf muscles. Just let them fall where they may. And maybe from here we bend the left knee and look underneath the left armpit. And then switch that out, straightening the left leg, bending the right knee, turning to look underneath the right armpit. Just finding a gentle bend here. Beautiful. And then from here, we will meet at the back of our mat. So I'm going to walk my hands towards my feet, bending my knees generously. And then from here, we'll find a gorilla pose. As I mentioned, you can always take gorilla like a forward fold seated on the mat. I'm going to stay standing and flip my palms so that they're pointing towards the ceiling. And then slide my fingertips as far as they'll go underneath my feet, bending those knees really generously here. And maybe rocking just gently forward and back on those feet. being very careful about when we come forward that we're not dumping into our wrists or putting too much weight on those joints. Releasing the head, releasing the neck. Maybe shaking the head, yes and no. And from here, if it feels good, you can always play with deepening that bend in the knees and then straightening the knees. Exhaling to deepen. Inhaling to straighten the legs. We'll be here for 3 more breaths in whichever fold you chose. Really nice. And then from here, we'll slide those fingertips out from under the feet, and then gently, vertebrae by vertebrae, pressing through the feet, roll all the way up to our mountain pose. Take your time here. Find your mountain pose. From here, I'm going to turn so you can see me. We're going to bring our awareness into the left foot and really notice the balls of the left foot, both sides of the foot and the heel. Maybe you press into that foot so much so that your kneecap lifts up towards your thigh. Maybe so much so that your right leg feels a little lighter. Maybe you draw your navel in towards your spine. And you can bring your hands to heart center here to start as we keep the right foot parallel and kick out the right foot to the right side just gently. So as far as we can go, keeping our balance and keeping as much of the integrity in our left hip to stay steady. So the more you press through that left foot, the more you might be able to press out with the right. And just one more here. Really nice. Okay, from here, we're going to bring the awareness into the right foot, checking in with the right and left edges of that right foot, the right heel, pressing the mat away, so much so that maybe the left foot feels lighter. And when you're ready, finding your balance here, we'll kick that foot out to the side, keeping that engagement in the core, reaching through the crown of the head, allowing your body to wobble and keeping your intention. It's okay if you come in and out of this pose. It's okay if your extensions are not the same width every time. Just find 2 more on this side. You're doing great. Awesome. And then from here, we're going to heel toe the feet wide. So that just means kicking our heels out and then rolling our toes to walk our heels wide. Maybe you have some crunchies in your ankles like I do. We're going to end up with our legs wide, knees out, heels in, toes out. We'll bring our hands to heart center and then bend the knees on an exhale. So sinking down as far as you can go. On your inhale, come up. You can open the hands, reaching for the sky. Exhale, bend the knees. So pointing the tailbone towards the mat as you sink down. Inhaling up for horse pose. Great job. We'll do 3 more just like this. Pressing the mat away as you lift up. And tucking that tailbone down as you sink down, keeping that flat back as much as you can. Awesome. From here, we will heel toe our toes back together and come to a comfortable seat. And then we're going to bring those legs wide again, keeping the heels pressing out, toes pointing in towards you. And we'll find our wide-legged forward fold here. So walk the hands forward as far as you can go while keeping that long extension in the spine. Stay here for 2 breaths, settling in, noticing where maybe you can make the shape a little deeper. And then when you're ready, you can curl the spine, drop the head, and walk the hands maybe a little further to find a gentle wide-legged forward fold. So hopefully this feels a little yummy after all of the hip movements that we did. And when you're ready, we'll come out of the wide-legged forward fold and come to lie on our backs on the mat. And here, we'll take a supine twist. So bring your knees as close as you can towards your hips, and then we'll drop the knees over to the left so that right hip stacks over left, right knee stacks over left. Tee out or goalpost your arms, and maybe look over to the right to deepen the stretch. Settle in and find the mat with both shoulder blades. Beautiful. And when you're ready, we will engage the core. So draw your navel into spine to support you as you drop the right hip down. And then reset your hips, pressing the lower back into the mat. And then allow those knees to fall over to the right. Left hip stacks over right now. And look over to the left to deepen the stretch. When you're ready, draw that navel back into your spine to support you as we drop the left hip down, and then find your final shape. We'll take a few minutes here, so pick a shape that feels restful for you, and we'll just settle. I'm going to just lay on my back, extend my legs long. Find your pose and take a few moments of rest. Can feel a little strange, like you should be doing something, right? I would argue that rest is doing something. And in yoga, we think of this time as as a time to seal in our practice, these moments that we've had to practice yoga. This rest at the end allows us to let it all soak in. So for these few moments, find a little more ease in whichever shape you've chosen. Notice the spaces that are grounded to the mat. Bring your awareness to those places on your body. Maybe the shoulders, the arms, the lower back, the feet, the legs. Allow those spaces to be heavy. There's nothing to carry. Nowhere to go. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Maybe in this time you notice that those spaces that are grounded to the mat, that your whole body, no matter what shape it's in, is held and supported, just as you're letting go, relaxing back. Your body is supported. Maybe you start to bring your awareness to your breath and start to find some gentle movement in your fingers, your toes, your wrists, your ankles. Maybe you find a stretch that feels really good. Starting to waken up the body for what comes next. And then from here, we will meet in a comfortable seat, or it's your practice. You can stay where you are if you'd like. I'll close us out up here. Bring my hands to heart center and just let you know that you're important already. You always were. And it means so much to me that you choose to allow me to guide you. It means so much to me that you choose to make this space for yourself. Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.